I was so surprised. Like, I have never, ever experienced this before. And I was like, how? Excuse me, where are your manners? Tip for what? Hello and welcome. Hi, I'm Satshya. Welcome to my YouTube channel and a little life update. I colored my hair blue again. I use Manic Panic Shocking Blue, and this is the same hair color that I used when I first colored my hair by myself. The video is somewhere here. It's from 6 years ago, so you can like see how the hair color has evolved. Second life update is that I traveled to the US for the first time ever last month in May. It was to visit my sister who lives there. She's been there for the past 10 years, but this was the first time I got to go there and spend time with her. And it was really nice because we weren't very close growing up because we used to fight a lot. But you know, it's natural when you grow up older, you understand each other. But by that time, she had already left, gone to college, then she got married, and then she moved. So the only time I got to spend time with her was during my wedding, but that also was for like 2-3 weeks, and it was a super hectic, busy time. So I was so happy to finally get to spend time with her and my brother-in-law. And also because I had grown up, you know, reading so much about American culture, watching TV shows like Friends, The Office, Big Bang Theory. You see like so many things, the way they live their lives, the food they eat, pizza, pasta, all of these things. So I was very curious, like, is it really like this? Like, is American culture really like this? And there were a lot of things about it that surprised me when I actually got there. So this is going to be a very chit-chatty video. We are in my living room, so you can grab some coffee, a snack, or just keep it aside and just listen to it while you're doing chores, washing vessels, whatever it is. And let's get into it. 10 things about American culture that surprised me. Number one, the small talk and like general friendliness. In America, when people walk on the road, they look at you and smile. They say, hey, how are ya? How's it going? Or if you say, for example, enter a restaurant and someone's passing through, or they're passing through the door as you are, they're like, hey, how are ya? How's it going? And for me, it was so strange because in India, you don't do this, like, unless you know, like, if you go to a shop and you know that uncle from years, you're like, hi, uncle, how are you? Like, you make conversation. Or even in Singapore, like, the culture is not to have that kind of small talk. People keep it to a minimum. Like, if you enter an elevator, everybody's just quiet by themselves. It's considered rude to be talking inside an elevator. Whereas here, like, when we entered the elevator, there was someone already there. And he was like, hi, how are you? You know, good morning. When they leave, they'll say, see ya, have a nice day. And the first time this had happened, I was so taken aback that I was like, thank you. And my sister was like, excuse me, where are your manners? Please say you too. And I was like, oh yeah. I was just so surprised that someone I never met was like, have a nice day. But it's a really nice practice. Like, I wish we did that more because I have a dog now. Whenever I take him for a walk, people tend to say, I mean, I say hi to everyone because, you know, I have to ask, like, are you okay with the dog? Like, is it okay if he smells you, etc. So I make conversation up because of the dog. And I found that people are so much more friendly, and I've gotten to know so many people in my condo because of it. So I wish that, like, I want this kind of small talk and friendliness to be there everywhere. You know, I think that would be nice. Like, I would like it. Not beyond that, no more deep questions, just hi, how are you? Like, that would be good. Number 2 is tips. And I have some thoughts about this. For context, in India, when you go out to eat, when you get your final bill, you have the cost of all the dishes, plus there's 10% service charge, which is considered to be tips. This is like a flat rate, like everyone expects it. You pay 10% of that and then done. If you want, you can pay more above and beyond if the service is really good. And the same in Singapore as well. You have 10% service charge. But in America, that is not part of the bill, and the tip is up to you. But they say up to you, but the standard expectation is 15 to 30% and above if you really liked it. And 20% is usually the average tip that you would give, which is quite a lot. Like, when my dad went to visit my sister, he's like, oh, giving tip, it's so expensive, tipping is so expensive, because we're not used to it, right? And I totally understand tipping because, you know, someone, if you're at a restaurant, it's not just, they're not just coming and being like, okay, what do you want? They're like constantly checking up on you, giving you recommendations, suggestions, overall making sure that you have a great experience. So that's totally fine. But in some situations, tipping does not make sense to me, and I'll tell you why. So once we had gone to a souvenir shop in San Francisco. It was a regular shop, okay? So we just like went around. I picked up a couple of items to my friends and family, and then I went to the cashier and I gave it to him to bill. So he billed it, and then he was like, would you like to add a tip? And I was like, tip for what? It was not like the cashier was, going around helping me pick items and any of that. That's it. My first interaction with him was at that counter where it just billed the items. So I was like confused, but also on the screen it showed like 15%, 18%, 20%. And he himself was asking me like, would you like to tip? It's like those moments when people are like, would you like to add 1 rupee for charity? You don't want to be like a cheapskate and say no, right? So I think, yeah, that peer pressure or people, I don't know what it was, but I was like, yeah, sure. And then I selected 18% because 15 seemed too low, 20 seemed too high. So I ended up paying 18% tip on items that I picked myself. So in those cases, like, I don't get it. I don't know, maybe it's just like a cultural thing. And another part of it is taxes. In order to pay for employees, healthcare, benefits, insurance, etc. And for me, I was like, isn't an employer supposed to pay for these things? Like, why is it put on the customer? And okay, imagine this. So say your food item is like $5. On top of that, you're paying 5% this employee tax, plus you're paying 20% tip. So eating out is like seriously expensive. Why? Like, okay. I admit it must be like a cultural thing that I don't get. So if you're someone who lives in America or you're American, please let me know in the comments, like give me some background context to this so I can understand it better. Number 3 is service. Service in American restaurants is amazing, like amazing. They make you feel so good. I know that probably largely a part of it is because so much of income is based on tips. So people are really nice, but you genuinely feel like people are really warm, really friendly. 2 places where I found services excellent, actually 3 places. Cheesecake Factory, this Laotian place called Kaluna, and Benihana's. These are all 3 in Minneapolis. That's where my sister lives. Supremely good service. And it's not just that they show you to your seat and they're like, okay, what would you like to order? They say, hi, how are you? Good morning, how's it going? Oh, where are you from? Like small conversation. And then they would give you recommendations. Like you can ask them, okay, what do you like? So it's not just they say, oh, I like the chicken noodles. They say, oh, there are these 3 things I really like. The chicken especially is very good because it has this broccoli paste with it and blah, blah, blah. And so because they go into so much of detail and they know so much about the menu, you feel like it's a friend who's recommending dishes to you that they've tried and they like. So it's overall a very warm dining experience. They keep checking in, do you have enough water? Can I get you anything else? And they're very like you feel like they're on your side because you say, suppose you order 3 big items and they're like, you know what, actually the portions are quite big. So I would recommend instead of 3, you get 2 and maybe you can try the dessert. That would be a nice addition. So all of these things you feel, you get that really nice personalized service when you go to eat outside. So that was very, very pleasant and a nice experience. Number 4 is packing to-go boxes. So this is also about food, but a part that I didn't understand. So this was in Benihana's and we had finished our food and there was leftover food. Now, usually in India, when there's leftover food, the waiter comes and says, would you like this packed? You say yes. They take it to the kitchen, they pack it up in little containers, they bring a bag out to you and keep it to your table. Here, they brought boxes and we had to put the food in ourselves. And I was so surprised. Like I have never, ever experienced this before. So it was very humbling because you're like, yeah, of course, I eat it. Of course, I'll put it in, no problem. But it was very different. And I don't know if it's all across America, this is the thing. But I know that in more expensive restaurants, they would probably pack it for you. But yeah, I like this system of packing your own box. But it takes away from that experience of being catered to. Maybe I'm spoilt by the excellent service in India, but yeah, this is how it was. So be prepared. Number 5, the levels of crime and poverty. So I landed in San Francisco, and my image of it was like, oh, all these quaint little places, everybody hustling, bustling with Starbucks and, just going along their life. Everything's very modern, everyone's very high tech. And I was very surprised to see a lot of homeless people on the streets. And this wasn't like, we were not like in the outskirts or anything. We were bang in the heart of the city where all these like huge skyscrapers are there, but also like so many homeless people pushing carts, shopping carts filled with all their belongings, people sleeping on the side of the street. It was very surprising because I didn't expect it at all. You have this image of America, the land of the super rich, right? But income inequality is there everywhere. And also crime. Our tour guide, who is a San Francisco resident, she told us, walk around how much you want, but once it gets dark, please don't walk. Just take a cab and go back to your hotel. And we were confused, like, why? And she said there is a rise in crime here and there have been a lot of muggings being reported. So especially if they know you're a tourist, you're probably going to be carrying around money or gifts or whatever, right? So that makes you an easy target. And also, in this is also a very surprising thing. There was this huge board which said, don't leave valuables in the car. There are a lot of car thefts happening. And this is also what a lot of people told me also, like, if you are taking a car, do not leave any valuables in because people will break the window and try to take it out. There are people who have left their windows down and with a note which says, there's nothing to steal, please don't break into my car. So that all this is very surprising because again, like, this was happening in the heart of the touristy place, where there's so much crowd and hustle and bustle. So to see that was very surprising. Number 6, supersized grocery shops. Oh my goodness, going to American supermarkets is a delight because of the sheer size of everything. So I'd gone to Costco and I also made a video on the pizza you get at Costco. You can check that out. I'll put the link in the description. All of these places are huge and it's not like they're level several stories high. It's like one floor which is spread out long and you have everything.
Washing machine, TV, laptop, pet stuff, camping stuff, Decathlon, all your supermarket, every shop you can think possible, everything in one place.
And everything is super big. So I thought, okay, let me get small packets of chips, Lays and all different flavors and then let me try. But the smallest pack is like this big, which is like the biggest size you get in India, right? The party pack. And I was like, I don't want to buy so much. Who will eat so much chips? Like, I don't want to waste it. And also I thought, okay, let me get 1 can of Pepsi, lime flavor. Oh, looks interesting. Everything is 6-pack or more. So yeah, that I found both nice. If you know what you want to buy, then you can buy it in bulk and save money. But if you just want to like browse, then that's very difficult. You should go to like a smaller supermarket like 7-Eleven or something to try it out. But the whole shopping experience is so good. Like, you get everything at great rates. I think I'm glad I don't live in America because I would have blown all my money in grocery shopping. If you've been following me, I love going to supermarkets, and I really like going to supermarkets when I travel abroad or travel to another country or city because you get such a good insight into what local culture is like. Highly recommend. My favorite place to be is a supermarket. Next comes portion sizes. Just like supermarkets, everything else in America is huge. It was me, my sister, my brother-in-law who were traveling around. So even though there were 3 people, we would order only 2 dishes because the portion size was so big that it was enough for 3 people. We were full sharing 2 dishes. I love it. I mean, it's terrible if you're eating alone, then there's a lot of waste. Actually, you can pack it in your own box and take it home and eat. Speaking of supersize, I went to a food court in the mall. This is the picture of the cups there, okay? And you buy the cups and then you go and fill the soda. Look at the size of the smallest cup. Gigantic glass of soda. How are you supposed to finish it? So much soda. Why? In India, you get these chotu glasses. And here its biggest glass is like so big. So everything was like, whoa, okay. Like a lot of places I didn't buy a soda because it was just too big and I knew I wouldn't be able to finish it. Number 8 is food flavor. So there's this running joke online about white people food and how bland it is. But American food was surprisingly very tasty. Like, it's not, they don't use a lot of spices like us, but it's well seasoned. I mean, wherever I ate, you get food from literally every country. You want Vietnamese food, Japanese food, Korean food, etc., etc. Just like Singapore, has a lot of cultural diversity. America is like 100 times that, especially Mexican food. Oh my goodness. In San Francisco, we went to this place. These are the best tacos I've ever eaten. Small place, but so tasty. Even at the San Francisco airport, I ate at this Mexican place called Mission Street. First time I've eaten airport food that is so good. Food in America is so good. There's so much variety, and like for a food lover, it is absolute paradise. Number 9, made in India. So we went to we went to the supermarket called TJ Maxx Home Goods. They also have clothes called TJ Maxx, but this was specifically like home stuff, home decor, home organization, all of those things. Huge place, and a lot of the items that I picked up at the back, it said made in India. And I was like, how? Because these are not like the Indian stuff with elephant motif and like this, the exotic stuff. This is like regular, like plain white organizational stuff, or like vases, clocks, etc. But all of this was made in India, and the price of these things were very, very good, much cheaper compared to like Target, Walmart, etc. So I was like, whoa, these people who are doing export business must be doing a fantastic revenue. And it was also a little like proud moment. I wanted to like hold it up and be like, see, made in my country. Yeah, see, made in my country. Number 10 is just the vastness of things. When you get to know about American culture, you have this idea of either it's huge skyscrapers everywhere, or it's like the beach and like California, LA, or Miami, But a large part of America is just empty land, in the sense that, okay, let me back up a bit. America, similar to India, has all ranges of, like, there are mountain ranges, it has rivers, valleys, everything, beaches, like all kinds of areas within that one country itself. And even traveling from one part of the US to the other takes such a long time. Going from San Francisco to Minneapolis took 5 hours. Same country, 5 hours direct flight. In India, it's like maximum 3 hours from Delhi to Thiruvananthapuram. But imagine like 5 hours just to go to the center of the country. Imagine going from like LA to New York would take so much time. So that's when I think for me, I realized how big America really is. And yeah, secondly, it's like how big it's at least in Minneapolis, it was mostly flat and huge places of like land of nothing, or like some grass growing. People's houses in the outskirts, they have such big compounds, and there are no fences. Like, people don't have that concept of fences. Just like house, lots of land. Oh yeah, that was it. That was my roundup of things that surprised me about America. I love learning about local culture and food, and so I hope that I can keep traveling more. And I feel like with every trip, my mind has become a little more open-minded and a little more accepting of different people and different cultures. And if there's any other like culture shocks you had while going to America, please tell me, like put it in the comments. I would love to know. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please also subscribe. It would really help the channel and me. I is the channel editor, everything. So that would really help me. And anyway, I will see you next week. Bye.